Comment below. I'm joking. I'm joking, but I'm also serious. Imagine like somebody starting a video like that. I'm just like, yeah, comment. The first thing you do is you gotta subscribe. You gotta like the video before you even watch it, and then also comment to this question, because this is kind of the premise of why I kind of have started doing this video, and why I'm going kind of down this rabbit hole that I'm going down. I was having a thought the other day of just how much money have I spent. I started working in 2019. I was a chartered accountant trainee in the city of Durban. And in that time, my rough, back of the napkin mathematics, I think I've spent and earned roughly a million in rand. And look, like, I probably wouldn't be at this point if my life didn't take the turn that it did at the beginning of 2022, but I would be extremely close. And so kind of made me think about how much money exactly is a million rand. Is it a lot of money? Is it a small amount of money? And given the fact that I think I've spent that much money and earned that much money, where has that money gone? What have I done with said money? And so I thought, it would be a great idea is let me go back through my bank statement and see from day one what was going on in my accounts for me to get to this point in less than 5 years. I mean, like, you think about it and you're like, million divided by 5, 200K, all of a sudden it starts becoming reasonable. And I did like some quick maths, and I was like, and I found out that in the time that I've been working, if my average salary had been from day one up until now 18,500 rand, then I would have gotten to a million. And that's my after tax salary. This is not how much money have you made, but it's before tax. This is the actual money that you've spent. And that's the concerning part for me, is there's something about million that makes you think a lot. And yet, looking at my bank statements, I don't know how I've managed to do that. And so that is why we will get into my bank statements today. The first 6 months that I've gone through so far, I've had a really fun time. It's really interesting how much of going down memory lane you get to do when you are going through your bank statements, because it tells you what were you doing at a particular time on a particular day. Like, one of the things that I enjoy doing is going through my Google Maps timeline, and that tells me where I was at a particular time on a particular day. And I guess bank statements do the same thing. And so I hope that with going through this statement, with you watching this video, with you coming along on this journey with me, we can get to see, where does our money go? How can we possibly use that money better? I want to know as well, like, was I good in how I spent my money? Was I very extravagant? I don't think I was. I don't think I was living a very extravagant life, but I'm really curious to know, where has this million rand gone to? It's gonna be a couple of videos, buckle up, and yeah, let's get into it. We'll start here with month 0. I've obviously redacted like my personal details and stuff like that. But anyway, let's get into it. This was bank statement number 1. Here we go. They gave me a 10,000 rand credit facility, which is wild, right? Because how are you giving me 10,000? I don't have any money to my name for you to give me 10,000 rand as a credit facility, but they were like, credit facility, 10,000 rand. By the way, if you were wondering how much I was earning in 2019, at the start of my articles, I was earning 10,000 rand pretty much, and that's probably why they gave me a credit facility of 10,000 rand. If I spend it all, well, my salary is coming into the Investec bank anyway, and they will pay themselves back with my salary just like that. So easy enough. And there wasn't much that happened in this first bank statement. Obviously, I had never earned a salary before. Let us move on to, I will call it statement one. So statement one, the first thing that we see here is that there's some interesting stuff going on in the account status. The way I want to do this is I want to go through the account status, account summary. Well, there's a few more other things. There's transaction details. But anyway, closing balance. First thing is Investec. They charge a really high service fee. It's 295 Rand. And that fee you only get up until you are 30 years old, at which point I think it goes up to like 500 Rand. So the only action that happened, obviously 15th of January, I haven't actually stepped foot into the office. I haven't worked a single day in my life. I was charged my monthly service fee. At which point I was really scared because I was like, I think I only had like 500 Rand to my name in my F&B account at the time. I'm like, a whole 300 gone from just the fees. Like, am I sure about this? And the other day, like, I was thinking about it as well. These fees, I was paying 3,500 Rand, 3,540 to be exact, per year to Investec for the privilege of having this account. And then I was paid, so then over the 3 years that I did my articles, I paid 10,620 Rand to Investec. There's a lesson in that, which is that, first of all, I didn't calculate how much I was going to pay in fees to Investec over that time. 10,000 Rand is a lot of money, guys. Like, it's a lot of money. Yes, it's not like if I'd gone with F&B, I wouldn't have had any fees, but going with a significantly cheaper bank probably would have helped me a lot. Now, there's an argument to be made for when I eventually purchased a vehicle. And once I purchased that vehicle, then I saw the benefit of being with Investec. I was getting a prime -1 rate. We'll talk about that the day that we talk about my car, because I think I'm pretty proud of the way that I did my car. And so I'm gonna make a video about that and how much I actually really spent on that car. It's surprisingly little money when you think about after I had sold it, how much I got back and everything else that went into it. So I'll make a video about that once I've like calculated everything and been through all my statements. But that'll be a very interesting one. And I think one where I would say, you know, if you're interested, watch that and see how to really navigate the car buying and car ownership. I think the way that I purchased, used, and then sold my car was really well done. Anyway, so first real month of doing anything. So this was up until 15th of February 2019. And account status. We still have our 10,000 facility. Our available credit. So typically what this means on these statements is it's our facility here of 10,000 Rand plus our closing balance, which is like the money that actually belongs to us. And they add that and they say available credit. I had no arrears, no amounts due, nothing like that. And so we move on to account summary. I like the way these statements are laid out actually. So card purchases for the month was 9,458. So I go from not spending any money, and then as soon as I get a card, I'm spending 9,458. So let's find out what I was doing. I have cash withdrawals of 550, deposits of 14,000, interest received, and obviously now our fees. So online banking, payments, deposits, and interest. Those are all the transactions that happen without you swiping your card or tapping or whatever it is you do. Right? So we can see this was me again because I was very scared that, you know, I owed money to Investec. So I put some money, sent some money from my F&B account to Investec so that I could cover that that loan. This was my first salary that I received. Having done no work, I received the salary, benefits, I guess. I don't know if like all the other big four firms, in fact, I don't know if all the other training firms allowed for this. I think there was talk of like some other firms didn't necessarily give the full salary, but they gave like something close to it, like towards like being able to buy clothes for when you start working. Credit, received some money. I think this is my parents sending me money. They're obviously my expenses. Now let's look at the actual card transactions, because that's always the interesting part, right? Like, what were you actually doing with the money you were earning? Here, DSO is they sell shoes, I think. So I was buying shoes there. Game Peter Maritzburg. So this is where that 3,000 that we saw over here, 3,310 went. I was purchasing some stuff for my parents because I wanted to earn points on Investec. Like that was my whole plan. I was like, what I'll do is you guys let me swipe with my card, because I have no expenses for the whole house's expenses, and then y'all send me money, and then we never did it again. It would have been pretty nice to earn some points, but I think just the logistics of doing that was just a bit too much, too much bother. So we didn't ever do it again. But yeah, this wasn't necessarily my own personal spending. Bought some McDonald's, yay. You'll notice a lot of McDonald's. This is a cash withdrawal. DCB Electrical Peter Maritzburg. I think that there's a story to this. Because I'm looking for the big amounts that I spent on, right? So I've already spoken about these guys. This 1,683. My father had an old Chrysler, and he wasn't necessarily using that every day anymore. It was like on its last legs, but I really had this like hope in my heart that I would be able to use it for at least the 3 years, so then that way I wouldn't have to like buy a car, because when you're an audit trainee, you have to do a lot of driving. At least we had to before COVID happened. But we had to do a lot of driving, and so I took it to this place for them to fix up some electrical issues that it was having. And the funny thing is, like, on this day was probably the last day that I ever saw that car. I have no idea where that car went or what happened with it. We never went back to fetch it. I think they said they moved it to some place or something. I'm sure my father knows exactly what he was doing, where his car went, but I have no idea. So let's see, bargain books, purchase some books to read. Oh, and then here we went to Spur. So I don't know, I feel like a part of it was pressure, but a part of it was just like, I don't want to just take my family out. I have a salary now, I'm a salary man. So I chose to take my family out to Spur. Of course, my father was like weird about it a bit. Like he didn't buy anything. He ate a sandwich. We went all the way to Spur. He was like, oh yeah, no. He's like, our fathers, they're like, I could be eating at home, like my wife's nice home-cooked meals. And then he ordered a sandwich. And then even that sandwich, he didn't let me pay for it. He paid for it himself on the side. So everyone else went and spent willy-nilly. Spent 717 Rand. Yeah. Actually, I want to come back to this card thing. I think my father intentionally made me pay for this because he wanted to teach me that life is expensive and that in life you have to pay for things. So because I was trying to use this car, he was like, well, I'm not using it, you go and fix it. And I feel like that's kind of been a thing that he's tried to do, just to teach me like financial responsibility. I'm sure he didn't want me to like always have come from a background where my parents pay my way through life and I don't know how to pay for things. In fact, there's something that happened in July. I had to pay a lot of money in July, and I think he intentionally didn't help me pay for any of that, even though technically he was the reason why the thing that broke was at home. And anyway, I hadn't wanted it, but anyway, it's fine. Obviously, we had to visit Woolworths to get some clothing, and then so from the 4th of Feb, I think this was probably a Monday, I spent that week in Durban because we had training at my office. So there were 2 guys that worked in the Peter Maritzburg office and 1 girl who worked at the Richards Bay office. We were expected to stay at a Stay Easy in Mhlanga. So we used to like take turns paying for food, and then we'd all get reimbursed. They told us like only 1 person must pay per night, and we'd all get reimbursed. So this isn't like, I don't know if this is really spending, but it's money that I spent that money though. we spent our office money. Anyway, same thing next week, we went there again. That's why we have these charges. Let's see, anything else? No, nothing. Okay, that's it. So I guess the big big spends for me then was taking my family out and really paying for that car that I then never saw again. So I kind of now feel a bit ripped off. But anyway, it's fine. You know what? It is what it is. It is the game. And then obviously paying for my household things. Actually, you know what? I want to go into a second one. I'm going to go into statement 3. All right. Statement 3. So, first thing that we notice with statement 3 is my closing balance is significantly lower than last month, but I've received another salary. Where did that money go? Let's find out. Let's find out. So card purchases, right? Very low on the card purchases. I'm actually quite proud of myself to spend only 1.5 on card purchases, and like we'll see what they were on, but you know, essentially I only spent 1,755 rand for that whole month. So less than 2,000 rand for an entire month. And I think that's the way to do it, right? Because I was living at home. I didn't have a lot of expenses. A lot of people had expenses that they had to pay for. They had cars, they had housing. You know, some people, they were required by their families to contribute a certain amount of money. For me, my parents were very kind. They said to me that I don't have to do that. So I never suffered from the black tax. I apologize if you have had to go through that. I know sometimes it can be pretty painful. And I actually wanted to I have some thoughts about black tax. I would like to probably make a video. I'm always promising to make videos and then I don't, but it's fine. Then online banking payments, and then deposits and incomes were 12,900, so about 13,000 rand. That is not going to be my salary, and we'll see why below. This is the first time that we meet my other addiction. My first addiction is McDonald's. My other addiction is buying airtime. In this cycle alone, I spent 340 rand on airtime. Can you tell me why I was spending 340 rand on airtime? I don't know. Yeah, anyway, let's go through it. Salary coming in, a little bit different, interesting. Alright, so we've got a salary coming in, and then we've got 13,000 rand. So this 13,000 rand, I was shuffling it off because obviously I had the 3,000 something odd in the previous month, and I've just gotten 10,400 odd this month. 13,000 rand I was shuffling off into my prime saver. It's like a relatively high interest savings account. That's, you know, you can just take your money out like instantly. So I was putting it into there. And then this was funny, man, I was so mean. I have a friend, we were jokingly, she was still in university, and she was joking, being like, haha, you should like send me money. And then I was like, haha, send your details. And then she sent the details. And I was like, oh, let me send you 1 rand. Then I sent her 1 rand and I was like, I sent you money. She was like, for real? I was like, yeah. Meanwhile, it's literally 1 rand. I'm sure she was so mad. But anyway, then we've got 2,442 rand. This will play a big part when I talk about my car. But this 2,442 was our travel allowance. So whenever I traveled to the client, to the office, they would reimburse me. Being able to do this like really helped me a lot. And obviously we've got like our monthly service charge. Now, our card transactions. Again, we didn't spend a lot of money this month. This is fuel, total. This is fuel that I was putting into my parents' car whenever I needed to borrow it. And then the rest of this, like honestly, there's nothing. There's more instances of fuel. There's nothing much to say about the rest of this. I, really wasn't doing a lot with my money yet, so I was saving a lot of it. My total card spending is 1,755 plus 1 rand and 340 rand from buying airtime on the app, and that's about it. So the first few months, like I'm seeing that it was pretty quiet. I was really serious about saving. I had a really big saving bone when I was young. I wish that was the case for the remainder of my time as a trainee, but yeah, suffice it to say that this was probably my best time as somebody who saved any kind of money. And we will see why on the next one. So there's your reason to subscribe and to comment again, how much money do you think you have spent in your lifetime, and has it reached 1 million? Because it's starting to feel like 1 million, not that hard to get to. But yeah, let me know whether you yourself have passed the R1 million spending. I promise you it gets a lot more interesting after this, but we have to go through it because I really wanted to know, where did it start? I started so well, right? I started so well. Imagine saving 13,000 Rand within 3 months and you already have 13,000 Rand in your bank account. Like, is that something that a lot of people have done? No, I don't think so. Straight out of varsity? Come on now. I started so well, and yet somehow, yeah, R1 million. Anyway, I will catch you on the next episode. I will probably record that next episode like fairly soon and then upload it later, but we'll see how it goes. Have a good one, and go through your bank statements, man. Go through your bank statements and see where you can improve. So far, I have no improvement points for myself, really. Maybe bringing lunch to work would have reduced some of these spends, but yeah, I don't think it was too bad up until the 15th of March 2019. We will we'll meet again in April. I forgot the months there for a second. Yeah, but we will definitely meet again in April.